Okay, well, welcome everyone to our Thursday Q&A webinar. I am Lisa Apolinski, and I am so excited for this topic. Our guest speaker, Michelle Salinas, is someone I met a couple months ago, and we were in a networking event. Super impressed with Michelle and just the level of expertise and guidance that she brings. And we talked about how we can know and show our business value in our value proposition statement, or another way of saying it is our little elevator pitch, and making sure that we are succinct and that we show our value immediately so we do not leave money on the table. That is the key component. If you have to start explaining what you do, you're in a loss. And I am very excited to have Michelle here. So Michelle is a business operations analyst. She has nearly 20 years of experience in sales, growth marketing, and project management. And this is the kicker for me. In the last 2 years, she has found over $10 million in additional revenue for her clients without tapping into their marketing or advertising budget. That to me is kind of a game changer. So Michelle, I'm going to let you be host. Yay. And I will let you take it away.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for being here. I'm super excited to share this information with you and, address, questions that may come up or situations, and let's just have fun. This is what it's all about. We already have too many seriousness in our business, so let's just have fun and make the most of this time together. So I'm going to share my screen now. I know that Lisa, you're going to be sending a recording to everybody, which is great. But I still am going to have my slides here. And if you want to take, whether it's notes or screenshots, feel free. This is totally to help everyone that's here and that sees this recording. Okay, so one of the things about unique value proposition that you'll find in other marketing trainings is that they define it as something as like, we have like a really comfy area, or in our coffee shop where you can read, something like that. And what happens with that type of unique value proposition is that it's not targeted to the pain points of the customer or prospect. So and not only that, but there's nothing distinctive, no distinctive advantage at all that coffee shop is offering. So that's the issue with that. And I'm trying to see here, how can I want to be able to see everybody and still see my presentation. Let me see, how can I do that?
I think if you maybe exit full view, you might be able
Yes.
to. Yeah.
So I did that, but I want to be able to see it. I don't see anyone at all. So I'm not sure what I'm doing here. That's not correct. Let's see. Hi, no, show video panel. There we go. That's what I want to see.
Awesome.
Okay.
Cool.
All right. I'm actually switching to sessions. So I'm a little bit rusty here with Zoom, but I still love Zoom, but I am switching to sessions. But anyway, so here we go. Let me delete that. And I want you guys to be able to see this. Can everybody see? Do you mind if it's in this format? I hope you guys don't mind.
No, I think it looks good. Yeah.
Okay. So the main question that you have to ask yourself about your business right now is, what distinctive advantage do you offer? What is it about your business that is completely different from anyone else that no one else can say? So that's in essence the heart of having a distinctive advantage. So again, and you can read right here, your business might be unique, but it won't matter to your prospects if it has nothing to do with their pain points. You guys probably have, like when you're looking for a financial advisor, you probably already have one, or maybe you don't want to have anything to do with one, I don't know. But if you look at a financial advisor website for as an example, you'll see that they'll say, hey, call us, we can help you with your finance. They'll say something that you're like, well, I sure hope so. You're a financial advisor, and I don't want to call you right away because I don't want you to be selling, your head off to me. So a lot of people won't even, engage with a website like that. And typically financial advisors, for instance, they'll only like go to one if it's a referral. But if it's just somebody looking at a website, they typically, if it looks like any other financial advisor, they just like move on. You don't want to be that person. You don't want to be that business that leaves so much money on the table. And in my business operations analysis, I actually show you in detail how much money you leave on the table by not having a market dominating position or a distinctive advantage. So we're just going to dive in a little bit more on, what that means. What does that mean to have a distinctive advantage? So as you see here, a market dominating position is basically a USP or distinctive advantage targeting the hot buttons of your market. And we do have to define what the hot buttons are for your market. That is something that is going to take some market research. It is going to take some time, and sometimes you do have to involve professionals to be able to get it right. It's if a market dominating position or a unique value proposition was easy to do, everyone would be doing it, and everyone would be getting it right, and there would be not so many failures with businesses. So obviously it isn't easy to do, but it's worth putting in the work for it because of what you get in return. So what are hot buttons? So think about your customer right now. Think about your prospects, your target audience. And if you haven't defined that yet, then that's where you would need to start. So your target audience, what are the hot buttons for them? What are the problems that really stress them out? That is top of mind all the time. If you're not able to answer that right now, then that would be your number one step is, if you haven't defined your target audience, then that would be your one. But if you already know who your target audience is, then it's going to be, what is that one problem or problems that is stressing out my prospects so much in their business that they're thinking about it all the time? Okay, so those are the different things you're going to need to find out. How do you find that out? Well, you can do surveys, you can do focus groups, you can incentivize somehow, whether it's the focus group or the survey, incentivize your prospects for filling it out or for coming to the focus group. Like, make it as easy as possible for them and simple as possible to be able to give you that information. But another thing, if you have the budget for it, you can hire, a market research specialist to do that for you. But if you're an entrepreneur that, you want to do this yourself, those are some of the ways that I can think of right now to be able to get this information. So that is going to be, your first step or steps to be able to find out what is the hot button for your prospect. What is that stressful problem? That problem that when they go to sleep at night, or they're trying to, they're still thinking about it. Like, it's a really big deal for your prospects. So that is what you need to find out. All right, let's move on and go to my next slide here. Okay, so now we're going to look at what is the key to successful marketing. And I know there's a ton of information out there on the internet. There's lots of people that say they know. There's even bachelor degrees for this, master degrees, doctorate programs, right? But obviously there's something that's being missed because this is something that a lot of businesses miss. Okay, so you must be able to enter the conversation taking place in the head of your prospects. That is super essential in your, before you pay ads for ads, before you do anything, you have to know this. This is why the steps that I just mentioned prior, if they go alongside, you know, your next steps. If you don't get these steps right the first, you know, and you skip them, guess what? You're not going to get your unique value proposition right. It's not going to give you the results it should give you. So that's why it's really important to make sure that you do your target, you define your target audience and you define their problem, their hot button. Then that's going to allow you to be able to, you know, have the key and use that key correctly, and, you know, finding out what is the conversation that's happening in their mind. What is that stressful problem? So that's the key to successful marketing, is really knowing that with certainty, knowing that after having tested it, not thinking you know it. No, like you've done your testing, you've done your research, and you now know you're getting the results. Okay, this is how you would know. And again, going back to the hot buttons, because this is a huge one. This is literally the key to successful marketing, you know, getting this right. Another thing you can ask yourself is, what is the problem they have that they don't want? What is the result they want but don't have? Okay, so, and again, we're getting to the meat of this, but this is like super foundational in order for you guys to get your marketing correct all the way, every single piece, not just some pieces, all of it. Because at the end of the day, your results is really what tells you if your marketing is correct or not. So now I'm going to show you
And
some
actually,
examples.
Michelle,
Yes.
we have a question from Mike, and I think it's actually a really good one. So
Yes.
what do you think
bring it
about
on.
using LinkedIn polls as one of the data points to find out a major problem clients are struggling with? I'm actually curious to see what you think. I have my own opinion, but I want to hear yours.
Yes. Mike, if you're getting engagement, if you've seen somebody already use LinkedIn, their polls, I'm not personally familiar with it. I haven't used it yet, so I can't tell you I did it and I'm super successful with it. No, because I haven't used it, but it's a great idea. And any ideas that you guys have, never feel like somebody has to validate it, and unless you're spending a ton of money, then okay. But if it's something free and it's not going to like damage your reputation or anything, try it out, Mike. A poll is actually, it goes along the idea of what a focus group would do, what a survey does. There's different ways to survey, so a poll is one. You just want to make sure that that people feel incentivized somehow, because people they're just we're so overloaded with information. That is the age we live in. We're so overloaded with information. And so we just scroll and we just go like that, and somebody might miss it. But if you're tagging people, if you have people on LinkedIn that support you and will actually answer and engage, then that's great. If you're going to give a gift card, if you're able to give a gift card, you know, for people that take the time, you know, just to appreciate their time, like incentivize or give them something that is of value that your target audience would really appreciate, that is going to be valuable for taking the time to fill out that poll. So it just depends, Mike, what your situation is. Like if you have already a group of people that engage, if you're in a group and those people engage already, then please feel free to try this out and let us know how it goes, because LinkedIn is a great place to connect with other business owners if they're engaging. The engagement part is what can be tricky on LinkedIn. And so, but if you do have that, that's fantastic. That, I think that would be a great way to find out.
Yeah, and I have two quick caveats to that, Michelle, and I think that's awesome. And I'm in total agreement with you. The two things that I want everyone to think about is, when you're doing a LinkedIn poll, number one, you have to already have an understanding of what you think the 1, 2, or 3 key problems are, because you're listing them as options. So you have to have already have done your research to be able to pull it into a poll form. And number two, you are limited in the number of words, the number of characters you can do, which means you have to be super succinct in what the problem is, what the question is, and then what the problem is. So I agree. I think it's a great way to do it, but you know, if you're not sure what their problems are, you can do an informal, you know, every client or prospect that you talk to, you can just ask them, what's the one problem that you feel that you struggle with that keeps you from growing your business, having a better business, having market penetration, whatever you want to, however you want to word it, and then just focus it that way. But absolutely love that. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'll just quick chime in. Thanks for those answers. I think the information gathering and the engagement is always the issue, right? So trying to find people who will give you the answer. I love the idea of some incentive, obviously trying to keep the costs down. And I really like what you said, Lisa, about basically every time you talk to somebody, just asking that, what's the one, you know, have them rank it for you and say, what's the one thing that is your biggest, you know, if there is one, what is it? The biggest thing holding you back or your concern or what keeps you up at night? I love that.
Right.
And on the polls, I know they're very tricky because it's only 30 characters. What I've been doing is actually, instead of asking one poll to find it all out, I'm breaking it into multiple polls because there might be, say, 5 issues. So I'm asking about each issue, and then my poll answers further clarify that to see, is this major question at the top even a concern for you or not? So that was one way I got around it.
Yeah, absolutely. And Mike, I would also say, really, it's an 80-20 rule. If you are good with your discovery call and having the conversation with your future clients about what is the one thing that they struggle with that would make this engagement worth the price of admission, they'll tell you. And it's usually one big problem that if they can solve that, they'll be, you know, cooking with gas. Like it's just, it's really, and it's really, you know, there might be sub problems, but there's one big one that every
right.
single one of your clients struggles with that you just happen to have a solution for. Ta-da!
Right.
Yeah.
Great stuff. Thanks.
Another thing, Mike, that I'm thinking about too is on LinkedIn, there may be some companies. I'm not sure if the poll is, I can't imagine it being anonymous. But another thing too is that some companies don't want to be sharing their problems with everybody. And so they're not going to be discussing openly what their challenge is. And so that's an,
you as the poster know the answers, but it's not necessarily advertised to everybody.
Okay, so like whoever engages with it, it won't show like who it is and what company and
Only
all that.
Only the person who authored the poll. So like me,
Okay.
I'll see, you know, what people's answers are, but it just gives percentages for the general public.
Okay,
so.
Fantastic. Okay, that's great. So yes, any other questions about the information I just shared? And I'm going to go back to this slide. Sorry, I will like be on a roll here and like super focused. So I'm so glad, Lisa, you stopped me. I get really excited about this information because it works. But anyway, so who else? Does anybody else have any other questions that you've thought of that you want to ask so we can address it?
I think we're good. And if you do have
Okay.
questions, you can also throw them into the group chat and I will grab
Yes.
them and ask Michelle.
Sounds good. All right. Okay. So here we're going to be looking at an example. This is a psychologist. I'm a special needs mom, so I can really relate to this. And I can honestly tell you that this really speaks to me, to my pain point as a special mom with a special needs child. I have 2 kids, but one of them has special needs. So here we're looking at the conversion equation, and it's made up of 4 different things that are crucial and they work together. They converge. And so interrupt, engage, educate, and offer. So interrupt, as you can see here, is, are you sick and tired of the yelling, screaming, and belligerent attitude of your child? That is, if anyone here has kids or has ever had kids that have special needs, you understand this question. It's a loaded question, it feels like it's a loaded question, but it's such an important question. Like that right there, if I was on my Facebook or Instagram's my favorite, and I see this an ad, because I actually have bought things on Instagram when it's an ad that speaks to me, this I would totally get my attention immediately, that question alone, and I would keep reading. And so then you've got your engage. So again, the headline, that first one, is only to interrupt, to stop somebody on their tracks. They're scrolling, you want to stop them. That's the kind of headline you have to have. Then the subheadline is the one that's going to engage them. So I'm like, okay, yes, that question totally resonates. Okay, so what is this? Okay, now you can discover the secrets to controlling your child and instantly restore peace and quiet in your home. Oh my God, peace. Yes, I want peace. It's such an important value more than ever. Yes, I want to keep reading this. What else is here? Like, I, honest to God, would totally respond and sign up. So educate. Okay, I'm not ready to buy anything just yet because I don't know this doctor. I don't know his information. First time I see him. So I want to figure out, like, how good is it? How valuable is it? The information he shares. So it says here, learn the secrets to gaining and maintaining complete control of your child in less than 60 seconds. Less than 60 seconds? Wow. So to me, this is, my impression is that he's going to be educating me on an offer. It's a problem that I have that I don't want, to giving me a solution. Learn the secrets to gaining and maintaining complete control of your child in less than 60 seconds. I want that right now. I would be signing up to get that information right now. And that's the kind of response you want to evoke in your prospect. If they are, like, if I don't fill this out and get the information, I would be a complete, like, blinded dummy person, seriously, because again, moms that are in a situation like this or similar, they do understand. They understand how important it is to have peace. And of course, they're going to want to learn the secrets in less than 60 seconds. Instead of having to scroll through like a sea of information. No one has the time for that nowadays. So yes, I want to know in less than 60 seconds. So I am going to sign up and find out if he actually can give me that information in less than 60 seconds. If he can, and he proves that, he is what he says he is and offers, guess what? I am going to be eager to learn more from this psychologist. What else does he have to say? I've actually found information like this on LinkedIn. The articles, they write it in a way, because these are psychologists, writing it, doctors, and they're writing it literally for parents that have kids with special needs. And so the way they've written it has gotten my attention so much that not only do I read the post and like it and engage with it, but I want to connect with them. I want to follow them. I will, request a connection sometimes. And that's the power of writing in a way that is all based on the pain points, that stressful problem that your prospect has, that is on the forefront of their mind all the time. So this is a quick example of what that looks like in this type of industry. Now, does anybody have any questions about this, or would have any comments, whatever? I'm open to hearing from all of you.
Yeah, I actually have a quick comment, Michelle. So
sure.
As you are starting to build on your authority power, as you are starting to create content to show yourself as a thought leader and an authority, you're investing in your personal brand so people will know you, like you, and trust you. The educate portion of this equation becomes less copy, because you don't have to do as much proving and explaining and credentializing of yourself because people know you and they trust you. But the interrupt and the engage will never be diminished. It doesn't matter how popular or well-known you are for what you do, you still have to have that copy correct, the interrupt and the engage. And then the last one that also is something that you will always have to be spot on about is the offer. And the offer is a give. You have to give before you get. This is not the point in time to sell your services. It is the point in time to provide a knowledge, a free webinar, an infographic, a report, a one pager, an article, a video, something that continues to solidify that relationship with your future clients as well as your current ones. And it's always about that give. But this is fantastic. And I love that you're interrupting them. You're kind of going, hey, I'm over here. And they go, what's that? And then you're going into the engage. I love this. I love this conversion equation. Thank you, Michelle.
Yes. Now the educate, and I totally get where you're coming from with the educate, but just keep in mind that this is really for people that do not know you.
Very
These
true.
are not people
Yes.
that know you.
Yes.
Yes. We're talking
Yes.
about, having an ad that is so powerful that you can build your list and get a constant flow of leads and conversions and transactions. Like it goes on and on and on. Like this is like a whole system that it's an ecosystem that works congruently and they work together. So I'm just like tapping on the very foundational, one of the foundational items of a whole ecosystem. So this is going to be, this is going to be for people that do not know you, because we are savvy buyers now. So we research, we want information and we know how to get information. And so they have to, they're basically shopping around. They're looking at you and they're looking at the other person and the other, like they're looking at their options basically. And we're looking at it from an angle of how do you stand out and offer your distinctive advantage and communicate your distinctive advantage in such a way that they would feel dumb if they don't respond and engage and accept your offer. They literally would feel dumb.
Yeah. We call that one the no-brainer. What's the no-brainer offer? Like, this is a no-brainer.
It's like a stupid no-brainer offer. Like, that's how you want it to be. And it won't, like your competition, you'll like totally blow them off the water. It won't even be competition. It won't, because it won't compare to you. That's how you want to come, that's how you want to present yourself. When you share your what do, you have, 60 to 30 seconds to do that. So that's, you want to, share it in such a way with what you're saying that they're like, oh, I want to connect with you. I have got to connect with you. That's how you want it to be, because if you sound exactly the same, even with when you explain what you do, you won't be memorable. They're not going to have a compelling reason to want to connect with you. So we're talking about from the most basic thing, which is what do you do, and responding to that, to your ad that you put on Google, Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever you're going to put your ad on, whatever platform you use for that. But before you invest money in ads, because Google is very expensive, you want to get that correct. You're testing all this information before you even spend money on ads. There's no point in wasting money on ads or hiring somebody to do that for you if it's not going to convert, obviously. So this is where we're getting at, is that this formula, this ecosystem supports you so that when you do invest money in an ad, when you do invest in Lisa's service, it is going to be so on point that your conversions and your repeat transactions are going to just really blow you away, because this works. This works. And this is actually what the huge corporations have been doing for ages. This is not new information. It's just new, perhaps, to you and to the small businesses in general, any business under 7 million. But the ones that have a lot of money and a lot of resources, they've been using this ecosystem for ages, for ages. That's why they're multi-billion-dollar corporations. And so now it's accessible to the small business owner, and you can leverage it all day long. So this is why I'm passionate about it. This is why I offer a lot of things, complimentary, just to educate, because I want every small business to succeed. At the end of the day, that motivates me. That impacts everybody, our economy, it impacts everything when a small business really succeeds without having to sacrifice their families, their time, etc. Like being a slave to their business. That's not why any of us go into business. So anyway, the next thing is, basically, I'm pretty much done, but just to reiterate, your job as a business owner is to define the biggest problem your prospects have, and then be sure that what you sell provides them with the result they want but don't have. Again, this is the foundation, because this is a high level review of the foundational element of marketing. So anybody else have any questions? The next thing we're going to do to help you find out, define what the biggest problem your prospects have. This is just a little tiny thing that is going to point you in the right direction. You can go back to it as much as you want. But if you go on your computer to michellesalinas.com, you're going to find a conversion equation quiz. It's an evaluation. And so the questions that are going to be on there are going to, take you through every step of this process right here. Interrupt, engage, educate, and offer. It's going to ask you the questions that you need to keep top of mind to be able to get to that, problem that your prospect has that they don't want, and find a way to communicate your solution that they want but don't have, but you're going to be offering it. So this is basically it. There's time for a Q&A. If there's any questions, or if you have anything that's like in your mind that you're like, but how do I do this? Or whatever question you have, or whatever situation, if you feel comfortable to share and ask, please do so. We welcome that.
And if, so it's michellesalinas.com.
Yes.
And the market evaluator, the conversion equation evaluator, because I had to go on and look at it because I'm like, I want to do this quiz. It's actually pretty straightforward. This is really going to help you with understanding where you are right now. Data that helps to guide us to where to go is always a good thing. And this is absolutely data driven, which makes me very excited. It's interesting. I just want to say the interrupt, having the company name or a play on words is actually lower on the score, which I totally agree with. It shouldn't be something that's kitschy or, you think is cute or clever, but it doesn't actually get to the issue at hand. I'll tell a pretty funny story. I've published several books, and my publisher, Henry DeVries, is hilarious when we talk about the title of the book. So I know he was having a conversation with a woman who helps with dental practices. And she was like, what should be the name of the book? And he's like, I got it. Grow Your Dental Practice. It's very clear what the problem is and what the solution is. It doesn't have to be something crazy or kitschy. It can just be very direct. and understanding what your prospect's problem is allows you to have that interrupt that headline. So whether it's a book title, a blog post, an article, the name of a video, an ad, all of it is really to say, oh yeah, I have that problem. Because if you're like me, you kind of want to forget that you have that problem and pretend like it's not there at times. But if someone is right there saying, are you struggling with this? Because I have a solution that can actually get you to that future state of success. A lot of people will go, oh yeah, I do have that problem. Wait, what is this? And they'll lean in to your content, which is what you want. Absolutely. Well, love that. Thank you, Michelle. Let's open it up and see if anyone has a question. Are you struggling with your defining that problem and how your product or services gets to that future state of success, that results state? Because it's not just about the solution you're providing, it's how you actually get them to where they don't have that problem anymore, which is why they will pay you good money. I'd like to open it up and see if anyone has a question or a thought, or if anyone would like to go and have a little bit of one-on-one coaching right now in real time. It will help everybody to hear it.
I'm
Mike,
interested in that.
yeah, do it, Mike.
If you like, I can give you my website and you can look at it and see what you think.
Why don't we do that right now? So
Okay.
we will start with first filling out the quiz. So let's like have your website on one page and then the quiz
Yep.
on the other.
Okay.
So that way we can, just get it done.
Yeah, I started the quiz already, actually.
Okay. So
Mike's an
let's see,
overachiever, like me.
That's awesome. Is there a way for Mike to share his screen so that we can see what he's working
I
on?
put the link to the website. I don't
Wanna
know,
do
Lisa,
that,
you can pull it up and share if you want to do that.
Since Michelle, since you're driving, do you want to
Okay.
pull up the link from
Let me
Mike?
do that.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
right in the chat.
Let me close this here. And open the website. Okay, Michael Martin. .focalpointcoaching.com. Okay, now let me share it. Okay. So can everyone see the screen? Looks like yes. Okay.
Yes.
So I'm going to put that here. And then I'm going to open the quiz. So that way you guys can, I don't know if anybody has done this already, but you basically want to have your website open on one screen and then, go through this. So here, the first of all, Mike, that's a great picture.
Oh, thanks.
And then let's see. So uncovering possibilities and unlocking freedom for business leaders, giving you the profits you want and the time off you've earned. Okay. So your headline, it would be this one. But before I get to the headline, your main website, Mike, needs to be, I would recommend that it's one domain, like either Mike Martin, michaelmartin.com. I don't know if you have just one domain, because this
So
is.
yeah, I'll actually provide just a little background. So I'm
Okay.
actually, this website was provided for me because I'm part of Focal Point International, which is a collection of business coaches. And
Okay.
so I have a company, my company is called Top Down Strategies. And so
Okay.
what I'm currently trying to figure out about doing is taking top down strategies and pointing it at this so that it just will be that. Or
Yes.
having a separate thing that's maybe my own branding that's not the focal point branding and just the top-down strategies branding. So
Yes.
that's kind of a big debate.
Yes, and that's very common in coaching, to be part of some, like a bigger, a bigger
Yeah.
system, or, when you're certified and things like that. And that's totally fine. In a way, it's kind of like a franchise. So you want to make sure that you do have your own. You never want to go with anything that's cookie cutter, ever, because that will undermine any of your other efforts. So whether it's your top strategies that you want to do, or a specific one, whatever, that's your choice. If you just choose what you have, which I usually recommend, leverage what you already have, then your top strategies website is the one that's going to be a landing page. So in order to be able to get this correct, we have to make sure that the first thing they see is that, your headline, your subheadline, then your educate. So remember, the educate is evidence that shows them that you are the best at what you do. It doesn't matter if you're part of a franchise. It doesn't matter how you got where you got. They have to be certain of that in those few seconds that they get to your landing page. That's how crucial this is. So whether it's a video that you choose to have, something short, whatever media you choose to have, whatever's on that landing page has to be evidence. It has to evidence to them. It has to evoke them to feel confident and want to take action. So you'll know that that'll be done automatically if once with certainty and you've tested this, what their main problem is. So the headline here, I don't know if every single focal point website says this, but if I was looking for a coach and I'm reading this, that's not going to move me to do anything. Be like, okay.
Yeah, I agree, which is hence my dilemma. Yeah. I think it's a little generic. And I actually specialize in consulting firms, IT and technical consulting firms. And this is just really built for any small business, which
right.
Is
it's
generic.
not doing you and your target audience any service at all. They're actually missing out on the opportunity to work with you and for you to provide them, the service, serve them basically because of this. So that's why it's so essential to be able to have a landing page that is separate, completely separate from this. And then once you have, investigated, done your research and tested a headline and a subheadline that moves your target audience, then you've got it correct. And again, that's a whole process, but don't give up. Make sure that you tap in. I don't know if we're connected on LinkedIn. I think we are, but you know where to find me. Use leverage Lisa, because you need to be able to. So you have to educate your audience. You have to be putting content, and this is where Lisa can help you. You have to have different forms of content, video, articles, something that is quick, quizzes. There's just so many different ways that you're going to need to test and try to see which one is the one that resonates with your target audience. So yes, it is a lot of work. Sorry, Mel. Sorry, but no sorry, because this actually, once you guys get this correct, you don't just increase profit, okay? Because revenue is great, but at the end of the day, it's the profit that feeds your family, that feeds your doggies, your cats, whatever you have, your children, your dreams, your vacations, etc. It's the profit, not the revenue. So we want to make sure that we're increasing profit systematically. That's one of my differentiators, is that it's not just increasing profit, it's increasing profit systematically. You have a system that if you were to, go away, take care of your family, take care of whatever it is that you need to take care of, your business keeps running. And this is something that is easier said than done, but it is possible and very probable when you use, a system that it actually is proven to work. So this is one of the foundations. And here, so that's the headline there. It's a voiceover or intro, whatever, whether it's radio, TV, or your website. So we're looking at your website, so it's your headline.
Yeah, and I just want to quickly jump in on what Michelle just said for everyone. So when she's talking about increasing profit versus revenue, she's talking about the same type of services and you're charging more. So you're doing the same work, but you're charging 30% more, 40% more, 50% more. That delta of profit is where you're going to be able to grow your business. And studies have shown that the more you increase your market power, your authority as being known within a space for solving a problem, the more you can charge for those services because people see the value and they're willing to pay for it. So when she talks about that profit increase, that's what she's referring to. And that's what all of this is for. If you stay in that sea of sameness, the only thing you can compete against with your competitors is price. And what happens when you compete against your competitors with price? Right to the bottom. It is a one-way ticket to no profit margin because you're cutting your price just to get the business. And we want to flip that conversation so that you have your authority power, which means people will pay more because they're convinced, they are totally trusting that you are going to solve this problem for them and get them to that future state of success, and they're willing to pay for it.
Yep, that's correct. All right.
And
so then,
if you can go back to Mike's website again, I feel like you have the interrupt, but it's at the lower thing, giving you the profits you want and the time off you've earned. I think if you put that as your headline, I would be like, oh yeah, I want more profit and I want to be able to spend, to not kill myself making that profit. That sounds good to me. And a lot of business owners struggle with that for sure, balancing those two. So I feel like if you flip those almost, I think you'd be set for your interrupt phase. I feel like you've got it. It's just, unless Michelle, I want to hear your opinion there.
It's better than unlocking it's better than the one you had there, but you still, we really wouldn't know until you actually do some market research, Mike, to be completely sure what the IT consulting firms, what is their pain point. Most of the time, it's, depending where they are in their which business stage they're in. Most businesses, if they're in that, first, 1 to 5, 7 years, even 10 years, sometimes they want more clients. That's essentially where they're at. So that's one of them, one of the pain points. But it may also be that they have a lot of clients and then there's something going on with their clients, retention of clients, or maybe they're not charging enough, or maybe it's something operational. You work with them. So those are the kind of things that you need to find out directly from IT consulting firms. You're going to take them out for coffee, lunch, whatever it is, however you find your clients or your networking, and find out directly from them what the number one issue is for that specific consulting firm. It may be different for each one because they're going to be at different stages, but they're the ones that are going to educate you on what it is that you need to focus on with your headline and your subheadline. It's our prospects actually that is that's why Facebook, by the way, going back to big corporations, that's why Facebook, now Meta, and all these big guys, the big players, Amazon, why do you think they are constantly wanting to get your feedback? They're huge on customer feedback. Have you noticed that? You're basically giving them information without being paid for it. In a way, we're all doing that in one way or another. Like Chick-fil-A, same thing. Like they are huge on customer feedback. Panera, huge on customer feedback. That's how they make their business, their huge corporation, be, you know, the experience that you want. It's all based on feedback. So this is, again, something that's been leveraged for a long time, and it's time that every small business owner does that too.
Yep.
So
Joan Claire would also like to share her website and have you throw it up, and at least we can look at the interrupt. So she just put it in the chat. Thank you, Joan Claire.
Okay. Absolutely. Let me open that up. Joan Claire coaching.com. Okay.
And don't worry about how it's spelled. This is on the content. I don't want to say the content architecture is secondary, but people tolerate a lot of stuff. So yeah.
Okay. So up level from within, discover a path to peak performance as an attorney or business leader that is filled with ease and flow. Okay. I have one question for you, Joan Claire, is that, is this something that your competition can say? Is it something unique to you? Are you the only one that can do this? Or is there someone else that would be able to say exactly the same thing?
And Joan Claire, for some reason you're talking and we can't hear you. I see you're off mute, but.
Okay, I see she's writing in. Okay, it's not really built like a landing page, however.
I think she's trying to get on.
Okay, so that would, you don't have to answer, you know, if you don't feel comfortable, Joan Claire, but this is a question that you need to ask yourself honestly. When you go to your website and you see this, is this something that your competition, are they able to say exactly the same thing and do the same thing? If the answer is yes, then you're in the sea of sameness, of what we call the sea of sameness. You're not showing that prospect what is the stressor, that problem, that pain point. Yeah, and that's okay. I'm not sure either what's going on with the technology here, but I can definitely read what you're writing. So yes, if you're this headline right here and the subheadline, you know, if it's not speaking again to the pain points of your prospects, and your competition, that's pretty much how you know, is if your competition can say exactly the same thing and give them the same exact result, it's the sea of sameness. So what happens with that too is that that prospect is missing out on working with you, putting aside the profit. It's the service that we're giving to somebody, the way we're helping somebody, that only we can do that, not just because of the knowledge and experience, information we share, but what we bring in as human beings that's very unique. And I know that, you know, without knowing you, Joan Claire, there is something extremely unique about you that you're here to give, and that's why you're doing what you're doing. And they miss out on that because the headline and subheadline and the rest of the information sounds so similar to what everything that's out there. So this is another reason, if not the most important reason, of why having a headline and subheadline and information, a landing page basically that has all these components that is in that quiz and that evaluator in there. And making sure before you can even do that, you have to take that step of market research, getting that information directly from your target audience so that you can get it correct, exactly the way they need it. Because it's not about us. It's not about what sounds clever and great to us. It's about them. And every single one of them is going to give you a perspective and even an angle that you otherwise wouldn't be able to see, because we're not in their shoes. Like we may be able to relate to a certain degree or not, depending what it is, but we're not in their shoes living their life. So they have to be the ones telling us. Our prospects have to tell us what those pain points are. Does this make sense?
Joan Claire asked about how do we know what other coaches are doing? This is where stalking comes in, AKA market research. Look at people in your space that are doing something. It doesn't have to be exact. It just has to be maybe an overlap or something similar. And there's probably some people that already have their foot in there, and you can look at what they're offering and what they feel they're offering that's different, better, unique, faster, more complete, cheaper, more innovative. And that's how you can tell. And it doesn't have to have, you don't have to research 25 companies. Are there 2 or 3 other players that you can look at that have some market share, and you can kind of see how they're positioning, what they do, and why. And then Mike asked about suggestions on really honing in on that uniqueness. Michelle, I'd like you to go ahead and answer that, about how do you figure out what you're doing that's different? And I think part of it is really understanding, and I think this is where the differentiator is going to come for everybody. People say that they understand the problems that their prospects, their future clients are struggling with, and either they don't totally understand it, they haven't narrowed it down to 1 or 2. Like, if I got this solved, hell, my whole flipping year would be set. And they don't show how their product gets that person into that result state where either the problem is gone, the pain point is gone, or they're in a state of happiness and bliss because that pain point is gone. I think that's where that uniqueness comes in. If you understand the problem, you can show how your solution solves it. And I think that'll be much different than 95% of your competitors out there, because they're not articulating it. They're talking in grand, strokes and ideas like that, right?
A lot of it is platitudes.
A lot of it is platitudes, absolutely. And yeah, your LinkedIn profile, yes, it would be more specific to what you're currently doing, Joan Claire. But again, I think that this is a lovely sentence on your website, but is that what those attorneys struggle with? Are they looking for a different path to peak performance that they're able to leverage from within? And I can't answer that, only you can. And if that's what they're struggling with, we want to have peak performance. And also, what does that mean, peak performance? Is it, I want to bill more client hours? I want to have this type of clients on my roster as an attorney? Is it, I want to have, these are the top 5 clients that if I landed those, I could make partner. I mean, it's those kinds of questions. I think you have to get a lot more specific in what the problem is. And Michelle, do you agree with that?
Yes, 100%. And that business intelligence is only going to be provided by your prospects themselves. Yeah. They're the ones that are going to be able to tell you exactly what that is. So so that is your first next step. Again, if you don't have if you have your target audience already identified, and if you're not happy and fulfilled with your current target audience, or there's not a lot of conversion, or there's something missing there, and you end up, shifting that, then that's again a whole, that will be your first step. And you are going to find out, regardless, what the heart of the problem is. What is the stressor for your target audience that they want to get rid of it, and they want to find someone that can help them get rid of it and give them the solution they want as quickly as possible. Now, again, this doesn't happen overnight. That's why it's interrupt, engage, and then educate. The educating piece is very important after you take those, those steps of finding out what the problem is. That's where Lisa can help you, because you're going to have to create a whole series of emails, of social media posts, of articles, different venues to make sure that you're addressing different learning styles. But if, somebody may convert into a client, within a year, within 2 months, within 3 months, who knows? But the key is that once you get this first piece correct, you find out what is that problem directly from your prospect, your target audience, and you test it and you get results. That's how you can move forward with the next steps and the next pieces in this ecosystem, so that it truly works, completely and cohesively. And it gets to the point that within a year you can step away, do whatever it is that you need to do, and you have that confidence that your system is working 24/7 for you. That's where we're going with it. That's the idea. So does this make sense? And again, Joan Claire, that your LinkedIn is really important. Yes. However, your LinkedIn is a little bit trickier, and I'm not an expert at LinkedIn, so I can't really say. But a landing page, why we work with a landing page versus LinkedIn is because LinkedIn is its own platform. They can change whatever they want. Bill Gates can decide, I'm going to charge for this and that, and I'm going to keep the leads that came through LinkedIn, whatever. He's the boss. He owns LinkedIn now. Same thing with any social media platform. So a landing page, you want to always control the platform that they're coming through, your funnel, basically. You want to control that. So a landing page, you control that. They're opting in through your landing page, and you're staying in touch with them through a short series of emails that, give them the information they want. The ones that are ready to buy, because there's a whole other component I haven't talked about, but there's ready buyers, which is less than 1%. And then there's probably like the rest, which is, 99.9%. They are not ready to buy right away. This is why it's so essential to have your educate piece is going to be the piece where you're showing them how much you care about them. Mike, to your question, you're going to be showing them how unique you are through the educate step. That is a step that can take, a few months, a few days, a few years, who knows? But you don't concern yourself with how long it takes. You concern yourself with getting it correct. Remember, your responsibility as a business owner is knowing with certainty, having tested, having the evidence of what that problem is that your prospects think about all the time, that the problem they have that they don't want, and in your responsibility and obligation to serve them at the highest level is to give them the result they want but don't have. So remember that this is your mission as the business owner. This is your mission, to be able to serve your clients at the highest level. And I know that if, since we're all in the same room with Lisa and the quality of people that are here, we care about serving at the highest level. Otherwise, we wouldn't do this, because being a business owner, being an entrepreneur is not easy. It's not for the ones with a fainted heart or whatever. It's like, no, it's so freaking hard. It's like, it takes a lot. So, but when we know that we're serving at the highest level, and it becomes in a way our calling, like we know that this is not just about profit. Profit is great. It's important, but it's not the only reason. That is going to come across in the educate piece. When they see a video about you, when, giving them the information, when they read your email, your tone, the energy, all of it, it's going to shine through that. It's going to radiate. So I hope this helps answer the questions that you guys have, your thoughts, but anything you want to share, please, this is the time to do it.
No, we have gone over, but this was really, really helpful. I put in the chat, I should have done it before most of the people left, but I will put it in the follow-up email. We will have our next Q&A webinar on October 12th. My good friend Jamie Shipley will be talking about strategic holiday appreciation. Yes, I want to start talking about holidays and the gifts that you give your clients, and making sure that those tokens of appreciation help to build your personal brand and the trust within your brand. So it's not just a throwaway, I'll send a box of cookies or a fruit basket. No, no, no. We want to do something that can cause brand ambassadors, that can create social media content, and helps to build community, because when we build community, we bring people together who are like-minded, and then they support us as much as we support them. So I'm very excited about that. I put that link in the chat box, and I will also include it in the follow-up email. Michelle, thank you so much for this. This was amazing. And I took so many notes, and I'm like, I gotta fix my offering. So fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise. It was amazing. It was a great conversation. Thank you.
So welcome.
Yes, thank you very much.
Yes.
Great.
All right,
great stuff.
everyone. And we
that,
will
the next one sounds good too. So great topic.
Yeah, next one's going to be awesome. I'm so excited for that one. And we'll see you on the next one. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.